What's up, guys? Coat's a little chilly out here. My coat over here?
The orange one?
Yeah, there. Okay.
Is it raining?
No, I'm just a little chilly. Okay, guys. Today's rant is about business insurance. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to eat this one up because this is a good topic. Anybody who's trying to start your own business, you're going to deal with these vultures, these piranhas. That's the only terms I can think of that actually describe them. These guys, sorry about that, my phone's blowing up. These guys are flipping vultures. So, okay, for my dump truck, my first year I paid $10,000 in insurance. $10,000, right? That was basically my first year. So 10% of my income, my gross trucking income, basically went straight to insurance. Sorry about that, guys. So I just got off the phone with the company I'm doing the work for that's requesting that I have this $5 million insurance umbrella, right? And the insurance companies, like, I talked to them. The first time I talked to them, I swear, the guy was like, oh yeah, an umbrella policy, those are expensive. It's probably going to cost you about $2,500. Right? I've seen them for $2,500 for a $5 million umbrella. No big deal, you know? And then the next time I talk to them, I say, okay, hey, it's serious. I need you to get this umbrella policy. Okay, so now I've been waiting a week for them to get this insurance policy, right? And he called me back and he says, hey man, I'm doing the best I can. The only one I can get is a $2 million umbrella, and it's going to cost you $7,500. So, not only did they cut my insurance in half, more than half, they more than doubled the price tag, right? So, they're trying to get me to pay $7,500 for a $2 million umbrella, right? Okay, and this is with having a year and a half in business and no claims, okay? These insurance companies, they are only out there for themselves. They're only out there to make money, and they do that on the backs of working men. And it's just, it makes me sick to my stomach. Because I've worked, you know, I've put blisters on my hands digging those trenches, and then they come around and they want 20% of my gross income just so they can insure me. It's just flipping stupid. It's just ridiculous. And every single one of you guys is going to have to deal with this kind of stuff with these insurance companies. And they're just going to, they're going to tell you, oh, well, you know, with all the I'm supposed to be doing the work for, and so he's calling me. Sorry about that. So basically, you know, they want 20% of what I'm making, basically, this insurance company. You know, so, like, I just don't know how. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Okay, so here's the whole thing. I was working for this company, right? Under my friend's company, right? He had insurance. I was working under him. He was making a little bit of money off me. Then they had a disagreement. He's not in the picture anymore. I'm supposed to work directly for this company. They want me to have a $5 million umbrella policy, right? I say, okay, no problem. I went talked to my insurance guy, and a while ago I was mentioning it to him. I was like, hey, you know, what would it cost to get this? And he's like, oh, $2,500, you know. And I said, okay. I'm not going to get that right now. And then next thing I know, I'm saying, hey, I want this insurance. And now all of a sudden they cut the insurance in half. So now I can't get the 5 million. It's only 2 million. And it's triple the price of what I was told to begin with. So moral of the story is these insurance companies are going to try and rip you off every chance they get. That is their whole business model, is to rip the small business owner off every chance they get. Because for one, they're not making any money off of your homeowner's policy or your car policy. They're not making any money off those. So what they're going to do is they're going to try and rip you off if you're a small business owner, and they're going to take you to the cleaners every chance they get. And that's basically, you know, where I'm at. I'm at a position where I can't do this job because I can't afford the insurance to do the job, right? If I pay for the insurance, then I literally make nothing. I make nothing on the job. So, you know, these insurance companies need to take a chill pill. Yeah, that's for trucking, though, one mic. I'm doing excavation, right? I'm just installing the mainline telecommunications fiber. But, you know, it's just insanity that I have to pay this 10 grand, you know, for this insurance policy. And they're not even guaranteeing me more than 3 months worth of work. You know, so 3 months, 10 grand worth of insurance. So that basically equals out to 3, 6, 9. So $3,000 a month for insurance is what they want me to pay, basically. And that is just, it's not going to happen. You know, I just won't do the work. I'll just sit at home. You know, that's just where we're at. You know, if they have to have this insurance coverage, I'm not going to do the work, because I'm not going to pay 20% of my gross income to insurance. I'm just not doing it. That's just not, it's not even questionable. Like, I'm already making, you know, with all the expenses and everything, you know, my profit margin is a lot higher than most people's, and I'm at around a 50% profit margin. That means 50% of everything I make comes home with me. The rest goes out in expenses. Everything. Repairs, maintenance, fuel. The majority of companies have a profit margin of around 20 to 15%. 15 to 20, possibly up to 30, right? But because I do everything myself, I keep my costs lower, right? But I'm also not going to just turn around and bend over for these insurance companies so they can just take all my money, you know? Because it's just, you know, I literally put blisters on my hands digging these trenches with my cousin. I'm not doing that for pennies. Like, if I bring a $30,000 piece of machinery to a job site, I need to be making thousands of dollars. Like, that's just the way it works. If a carpenter brings a hammer, he gets paid hundreds of dollars. If I bring an excavator, I need to be making thousands of dollars. Insurance is a ripoff. Insurance is just a complete ripoff. And they're going to take you to the cleaners every chance they get. You know, that's just what it comes down to. And then my buddy, I was talking to him about insurance, and he was telling me how he made a certain amount of money, and the insurance company said, okay, well, we're going to have to do an insurance audit, right? So basically, the insurance company went to him and said, okay, how much did you make? How many employees do you have? This, that, and they wrote everything down. And then they had the audacity to come back to him and say, we underinsured you. You owe us $5,000. So not only do they rip you off, when they need more money from you, they just come and they just say, okay, it's time to do an audit. And then they tell you they didn't insure you enough, so they charge you more money. Doc, the problem is most people don't need insurance. Most people don't need it. At least not at the cost that they're charging. It's just absurd. Like, I know they have to make money, but I've been in business a year and a half with no claims. My buddy Josh has been in business for 3 years, no claims, and he's paying $25,000 a year for insurance that he hasn't ever used. It's a scam. I could insure myself for that amount of money. I could just be self-insured. Just keep a certain amount of money in the bank, and then if something happens, I pay it out myself. You know, for that kind of money, if I could pay myself 12 grand a year or 20,000 a year just for insurance purposes, I would do it. Nobody can afford that. I already have a bond, Armo, for my GL, but the fact of the matter is, here's the problem. The government makes you have insurance, right? So then the insurance companies think that because it's forced upon us, they can charge whatever they want, and it's totally okay. That's where the problem comes into play right there. You know, it's just like, okay, if I'm providing water service, I can charge whatever I want, because if you don't have water, you can't live. You know, that's basically the way it works. That's exactly what it does, dude. It forces you to grow faster than you want to, John. It's just stupid. Dude, and here's the other problem. Here's the other problem, Armo, with shopping around with commercial policies. Here's the problem. Okay, so I call Joe Schmo and say, hey, I want a $5 million insurance policy. He says, okay, what's your company name, this, that, and this, and that. And then what he does is he goes and he looks up your name, and then he sees who's already providing you service, and then he gives him a call and say, hey, man, your guy's calling me for this amount of insurance. How can we screw them together? That's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do. They call each other up and they say, okay, how can we screw them together? That's exactly what happens. There's no such thing as shopping around. There's no such thing as shopping around, because he calls your insurance company up and says, what's he paying? And then he says, well, he's paying this. Okay, well, okay, I can match that, or I can up it 10%. That's exactly, there's no such thing as shopping around. It's a monopoly. They've already got the whole industry on lockdown. They've lobbied for these laws, and they just hold the little guy down. That's exactly what they do. It's just a way of them holding the little guy down. You know, even if you try your hardest, somebody's going to try and find a way to take your money. And these insurance companies, they got you, man. They got you by the balls. Yeah, 3 years. Because they know they can screw you for the first 3 years as hard as they want and put you out of business. And then they can do it again to the next guy, because you're going to go out of business. Somebody's going to take his place. Then they can screw him until he goes out of business. And then they just do it, and that's how they make all their money. They just keep screwing people over. It's sickening. Like, I don't even know how they sleep at night. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if that was my job. There's just no way. There's just no way. We are a nation of lawsuits. And it's just sickening. It's sickening. It really is sickening. You know, because nowadays they force you to sue people, basically, because you can't afford anything without suing somebody. You know? Well, I appreciate that one, Mike. But the way I'm figuring is somebody else is going to have to lower the insurance limit or lower the cost, because I'm not doing it either way. Unless they lower my insurance limit where I have to work for them. So they say, okay, Brian, $5 million, we understand that's a little much. You know, get a $2 million policy and come to work for us. And I'll say, okay, deal. I can afford that. $7,500. You know. Or the insurance company says, well, okay, we were a little off on our numbers. We were being a little bit greedy there. Let's see if we can get you some insurance for a little bit cheaper. Okay? And then that's the other option. Those are the only two options. Because if neither one of these work, then I'm not working. That's the way it works. Because I'm not going to put blisters on my hands for free. I'm not doing that. I mean, I love hard work. I don't love it that much. Right? I love hard work, but not that much. So basically, Blake, I'm between a rock and a hard place with these insurance companies. Like, I got a job that can last me 3 months worth of work. They're wanting a certain amount of insurance. I can't afford that certain amount of insurance because the insurance companies are trying to rip me off. And I've called 3 different insurance brokers or insurance agents or whatever you want to call them. It's all just a joke. They all called each other and they say, hey, well, what's this guy? What are you paying? What is he paying you? And then he says, okay, well, I can charge this. It's just, they're all connected. There's no such thing as shopping around like people. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. There's no such thing as shopping around. They're going to take you to the cleaners every second they can. And I want you guys to know that before you get into the business and you're like, oh, I'm going to make a ton of money dump trucking, you know. Blake, I need a $5 million umbrella over my millions of dollars of already insurance that I have. You know, I have like $1 million for the dump truck, $2 million in aggregate, you know, another $1 million in general liability. Like, I have so many millions of dollars of insurance and it's worthless, basically. Yeah, and then they want another $5 million to cover all that on top of it. I just don't get it. They want me to have like millions of dollars worth of insurance when I'm doing, you know, hundreds of dollars worth of work. Like, where does that equate? It doesn't equate at all. You know? How am I supposed to afford millions of dollars worth of insurance when I'm not even doing millions of dollars worth of work? Like, you know, it's stupid. It's just stupid, you know? It's these people sit behind the desk and they're like, well, I'm going to sue McDonald's for $1 million because I spilled my coffee on myself. You know? So then they think up these ridiculous numbers that mean absolutely nothing, and then they try to charge you for it. You know? It's ludicrous. You know, the world we live in is just absolutely insane. And these insurance companies need to get a grip on life because, like, I understand they're a business and they need to make money, but ripping people off is not the way to make money. You don't go grab them for the nuggets. You pick up the gold dust like everybody else. I mean, that's just what it should be. Like, obviously, you're not going to get rich on one customer. It just doesn't happen. You got to pick up the gold dust. That's just the way it works. You know, just pick up the gold dust. But these insurance companies, they're trying to grab nuggets, man. Yeah, Blake. But that's for dump trucking, though. So, with the excavating, I don't understand why they're wanting a $5 million umbrella either. It just doesn't make any sense to me because I'm literally making hundreds of dollars. Like, why do I need millions of coverage for hundreds of dollars? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, why do I need a $5 million umbrella, you know, to install some fiber optics? It's just plastic I'm putting in the ground. Yeah. Well, basically, Blake, I'm basically telling him he's either got to lower his limit or I'm not working for him. Because I'm not paying 10 grand for insurance for 3 months worth of insurance. Where my potential for income is literally $20,000 a month. I'm not going to make more than that. Right? So 20, 40, 60. Right? I have a potential to make $60,000 if I literally work my tail off and I hit perfect circumstances and I dig thousands of feet, right? Probably, Blake. Something stupid, you know? So, $60,000, I have the potential to make $60,000 on this gig in 3 months. But here's the deal. To make 60, you have to pay 10? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even equate. like, okay, I'll pay 10 to make 100. That's what I do for my dump truck. Like, I pay 10,000 to make 100,000 in a year. I'm not paying 10,000 to make 50,000 in a year. That's stupid. No, I'm not paying that much for insurance. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. No question. I'm gonna go pick up my machines, you know, in another day if they can't work something out where I'm getting less on insurance. Yeah, I think I will tell them that. I think I'll tell them that. I'll say, hey, you know what, Stefano, I'll do the work. You got to cover the additional insurance coverage. If you want me to work for you, that's just the deal. That's where we're sitting. Because I'm not paying 10 grand for the additional insurance. I'm just not doing that. I mean, I'll tell them, okay, I'll pay $2,500 out of that 10 grand. You can pay the rest. You know. Yeah, John, I'm giving thousands of dollars. Like, I don't even... How am I supposed to give 10 grand away right before winter? Like, okay, what if it snows next month and I can't do any digging? Then I just gave up 10 grand for insurance and I can't even make any money. Any money. So, not happening. Not happening. I'm not paying 10 grand for insurance when the possibility of me working is even, you know, not 100%. Because if it snows or rains, you know, then I'm not digging. I'm not making any money. I'm only losing money because then I'm not only paying for me to stay in a hotel and do nothing, I'm also paying my cousin to sit in a hotel and do nothing. Right? So, it's just, insurance is ludicrous, guys. And I just want to do this rant and tell you what you're going to run into when you start a business with insurance companies. They're going to take you to the cleaners every chance they get. And that's the cold hard truth about business. You know, you make a ton of money, but you don't keep any of it. You don't keep any of it. It all just floats away. Insurance, expenses, everything. It all disappears. Like, you don't really keep hardly anything. But on the bright side, so we had that offer on the duplex. It was a full price offer. It was they wanted owner financing. We can't accept that deal. No, one Mike, I'm profiting money, but I mean, I'm working my tail off for what I'm making. You know, I'm literally working my tail off for, you know. Thanks, John, for that super chat, by the way. If you want a sticker, message me your address on Facebook Messenger or something. No, I'm making, you know, I think last year I netted 50,000 after all the expenses or something like that. And this year is probably going to be a little bit more. Maybe not though. If this work doesn't come through, if I don't get this work, then it'll be the same. Because I've already netted 50,000 this year, so I mean, we'll see what happens. But it's not, when you're running a business, you can't really just count what your net is and say, okay, I'm doing good, I've netted this. What you have to count also is you have to count your equity in the business itself. Because, you know, in 2 years worth of business, I've acquired, you know, over $100,000 worth of equipment. So, I mean, that gets built into what you're making too. Heck yeah, I could sustain a living off of just my dump truck. Heck yeah, I could. And it's a good one too. I mean, it's decent. You know, you work 6 months, you work your tail off, you work day and night. And then 6 months you just sit at home and do nothing. I mean, that's what I did last year. But I don't want to sit at home. I want to work winter too, you know, and that's why I was hoping I could get this job. But man, I'm not going to pay $10,000 just so I can work for 3 months and make $10,000. You know, not happening. Not happening. Not happening. So, the good news is, okay, so we're not accepting the offer on the duplex. So that's back on the table. But Okay, so we got our property in Shelton, is paid for. I talked with a bank about getting a construction loan to build our house on that property, right? So the ways we can go about this, we can sell the duplex, make $100,000, and then put that $100,000 as a down payment on another house. It's $450,000, $500,000, which is some astronomically large number, you know, for just a house with a shop. Or we can get a construction loan for 175 to 200 roughly to build our own house on my property in Shelton, right? And we can take the 100,000 from the duplex and plow that into the new construction loan. So we'll only owe $100,000 roughly on a brand new house with the shop on my property, which would be valued, you know, somewhere between $400,000 or $500,000. So I think that's the route we're gonna take. I need to speak with some builders, some home builders, and see, you know, I don't know how the process really works on, you know, building a home. So we're gonna, you know, talk to some people that have went through the experience. A lot of people say once they've done it, they're like, don't do it. I don't want to do it again. You know, it was a headache, you know, and that's what a lot of people say. But yeah, John, basically I've heard that, you know, when you build a house, it's a big headache and this and that, and working with builders and working with, you know, subs and stuff like that. It's just a pain. So we're gonna see what all of our options are. We're looking at all the options on the table, and so far that's the most appealing to me and my wife so far, because we come out at the other end with the least amount of debt, and that's always been my goal, is to have no debt. You know, that's basically, well, you know, I feel like the housing market is plateaued right now. It's not going up, it's not going down, you know. And what day is it, Blake? Are you gonna go? What, in Washington? Are you gonna go all the way to the one in Washington? If so, I might be there just to meet you. Thanks, One Mike, for joining. Appreciate the comments and your help and all the input. Are you going to that? Are you gonna go to that, Blake? Anyways, life is insane, guys. Like, I've been sitting at home for the past week doing nothing, waiting for this insurance stuff. Yeah. I know it's in Washington. I know where it is, like Centralia area. But honestly, I don't have any money to spend, so I would just go and watch other people spend money. What's up, Andy? You spelled my name wrong. It's B-R-I-A-N. Really? That's crazy, Blake. Like, I want to see what it's like just so I can see, you know, for future. Like, if I go and just, you know, like, hey, the next auction that comes up, we're going to go with, you know, $50,000 and we're going to get, you know, something, hopefully. Yeah. Gotta love spell check. Or autocorrect. Oh, man. Those things are nice, but at the same time, they are a pain in the butt sometimes. Anyways, guys, I haven't done any videos in a long time. You know what I could do? Yeah, forget it. I was going to take you on a walk through the other side of the duplex. I did the floor on it and all that stuff, but I don't have the keys, so can't really show you. Anyways, guys, don't forget to pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, share your favorite videos on your social media sites, and I guess I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.